Kitch.
Yellow.
Well, listen, two things just to kick things off here. As everyone can now tell, I have not said Deno because once again, Deno's not here. But I think Deno needs to understand he's risking when you don't see someone or hear from them ever, you tend to just forget about them. And I think that's where I'm headed. I think I'm close to forgetting about him.
Yeah. He was all hell bent on this time frame, and then
I know.
Yeah.
You can set your watch by Deno saying, "Hey, can we change the pod to this week?" That is it. But the lesser of the two big announcements. The second announcement, or before we get started here, Kitch, you know what today? Do you know what today is?
Not Valentine's Day, so no, I don't.
No, there's no such thing as Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is known as Dave's birthday. Not Valentine's, Dave's birthday. So today is February 1st, which makes us exactly 1 month away from the big giveaway.
Oh, the Raptors tickets giveaway.
The Raptors tickets for the March 24th Pistons game. So that's forthcoming. Still waiting on producer John to come up with a solution or a plan as to how we are going to make this legit. So, yeah, because I can only imagine TikTok Nation, Hate Nation, is going to rip us to shreds when whoever doesn't win, they'll be like, "Oh, it was rigged," blah blah blah. So we need to figure that piece out. But we are going to. It's going to be on the up and up. That's a month away, and as of going live today, 10,500 followers. So you have now a 1 in 10,500 chance of winning 2 tickets. So that's the
awesome. I'll tell you right now, if your last name is Kitchen or Bart, you're not going to win. So don't
unlikely. That'd be a tough sell. That'd be a really, really tough sell. I'm even going deeper. Like I have a bunch of Bobby's friends are listener. Anyone who if I know you, if I think I know you, if your name sounds familiar, you're not going to win. So it is rigged, and it is rigged from the standpoint of no nepotism, nobody within. It's like it'll be 40 degrees of separation on this.
Yeah, exactly. So, a complete stranger has to win.
It has to. Oh my God, has to be a complete stranger. Yes, a legitimate follower who we do not know. Yeah, absolutely. All right, Kitch, listen, let's get rolling here. We're on a bit of a time crunch. Deno, I guess in theory might be joining later, but we'll see. We won't hold our breath for that. But here we go. Raps the middle of the 7-game road trip, 2-2. And we'll get your comments on 2-2. But I'll lead you into with this. Would you say we could have won all 4 games?
Yeah. Oh yeah. We were there in all 4 games for sure. I decided on the way into work this morning, I would listen to last week's pod in the car.
Oh. How did I sound? Good?
We weren't that accurate. We were not that accurate from last week's pod. I think we let it off with, we're going to lose by 30 to Sacramento. We're going to lose by the last week. We're going to lose by 30 and we dumped truck Sacramento. We led the whole game and won by close to 20. I think 18.
1 by 18.
So, so that was dead wrong. And then we thought, I think I said we'd go 2-5 on the road trip, and you said best case scenario 3-4. We're 2-2. We're 2-2 on this road trip, and you're right. We could have been 4-0. It's our fourth quarter debacle that let us down 2 of those games where we just seem to run out of gas or whatever it might be here.
Well, I do want to talk about the last fourth quarter on Monday night in Phoenix. I think that's very relevant. But yes, going back to your point of, and I think I texted at one stage to us saying, we clearly don't have the pulse of this team with our comments and our prognostications. We were absolutely going to get destroyed in Sacramento. We thought no chance of winning in Golden State. They put it, that was a hard fought game, which I think they had a chance to win. And then Portland, the texts were Sunday morning. I woke up to 2 texts. We are going to get slaughtered tonight, back to back. We're going to lose by 30 again.
We played so hard against Golden State. Like we actually played hard, and they expended so much energy, and we lost in the fourth quarter, being outscored 31-23 in the fourth. So it was like, okay, these guys just blew their wad on the Golden State game. There's no way they got anything left in the tank for Portland. And then they're leading 37-14 at the end of the first quarter.
I mean,
like, what the hell?
Both games we said they're going to get slaughtered. They came out guns a-blazing in the first quarter, had big leads in the first quarter. So, yeah, Kitch, I'm perplexed, obviously, by the team. What I will say in these last 4 games, however, I'll say awesome effort in all 4 games. Like they've been playing really, really hard. It's been fun to watch. But I think what comes out is, some glaring holes in those 2 losses in particular. Monday night we shot 27% from three. We'll lose the game by 8 or 9 points. I mean, if you shoot 33%, right, we win. We win the game. Yep. Right. It's just little things. So I think we're just so inconsistent to that. But I mean, on Monday night too, like this is where I think I don't understand. This is why I say nurses, something's up. Like that lineup to start the fourth quarter. Okay. Yeah. From what I remember, Sky Barnes, our only starter in there. Then it was Flynn, Thad Young, Hernan Gomez, and I can't remember who the fifth to start that quarter was, but it wasn't Trent Siakam. So whoever we're missing, and Boucher. It was Boucher the fifth, right? Yep. Like, look at that lineup to start the fourth quarter. And then guess what happens, right? 2.5 minutes in, they're on, I think it was it was either an 8-0 run or a 12-2 run. And next thing you know, we're calling timeout. We're bringing the starters back in. Like, I mean, who didn't see that coming?
It's true. He wrestles with it. Like, it's still going back to the stat, and I pulled it up again this week, or Deno alerted me to it, that Siakam is number 1 in the league in minutes played. He's number 1, Freddie's number 4, and OG's number 15. Like, I guess he's caught in a pinch here. Like, he's got to give some rest to these guys, but they're still playing more minutes than everybody else. And I think it's an attest to our bench just is not very strong. Or we suffer when our bench goes in a lot of times.
But it does make me wonder what the messaging really is coming from the top down. Like, what are they like? It would appear that we are still trying to salvage this season. Right, by the way, these guys, in their minutes and the way they're playing, the rotations, because it's now a pretty strict 8-man rotation, unless there's an injury. Which I just find shocking that this is like, I'm not saying give up. I'm just saying, but maybe say, here are the guidelines, the parameters we're going to work within this. And if it happens, great. If it doesn't, we can't afford to play Pascal 39 minutes a game and Freddie 36. Well, unless you think you're not going to re-sign Freddie, then my Le'Veon Bell theory, run him into the ground. Yeah, break it for somebody else. I'm totally fine with that. I mean, that's what I just like. It seems like we're a mixed bag. We're definitely the lineup is what it is. We have games where we look great, and when we play hard, I mean, again, go back to those just the games that we won. Our defensive intensity, the number of deflections, the on-ball defense. I mean, it was awesome. It was really, really good.
Yeah, even in the Golden State game, we played good defensive intent, except for that one little stretch. Like we go through these little stretches where we fall behind by 12 and then we can't catch up.
And then we shouldn't forget about the Golden State game with the and people aren't going to like this, but it's so true. It's every year the eggshell that is OG, right? Now he's out for the rest of the trip, and if not longer.
So I remember the last I listened to the pod today, and I said, we should trade OG because everybody forgets that he's an eggshell and he hasn't had a healthy season, and we've just been lucky this year. Totally jinxed it. Very next game, he goes out.
Now, to be fair, we say eggshell, but I mean that was a hard fall. Like it was, but I mean I didn't think it.
But he doesn't. But other players don't fall that way. Like he fell like a clumsy guy falling. Like he's all awkward going in, and all of a sudden he's all upside down and he falls. I'm like, guys don't get themselves in those situations because they actually are coordinated. They actually have.
I agree. Like it almost seems more pronounced this year too, with his lack of, I guess coordination's not the right word, but his lack of like fluidness. I mean, he always reminds me of like that baby giraffe that was just born, or the baby deer, just sort of stumbling all over the place. Couldn't catch a cold with his. I know it's bizarre for obviously like a great athlete who's averaging 18 points in the NBA, which is last time I checked is the best basketball league in the world. So it's not like but it just still. I guess if he had it all together, then maybe he would be that stud that everyone thinks he's going to be. But I really do think. I'm not saying he's pinnacled or maxed out, but I'm telling you, you're real close to what OG is now. This is what his NBA career is going to be.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of things with OG in the last little bit. So one being, they rested him for the rest of the road trip. Is he really banged up, or are they just sort of preserving him for the trade deadline? Right. You got all this news out there saying OG's unhappy in Toronto. He's come out and said, "Well, who said that?" Well, I can tell you who said it. Either his agent said it, or the Raptors said it, or like somebody's. Like there's you can look at all different conspiracy theories in there and say somebody could have leaked that just to make him more attractive. Like people aware, he is unhappy. He wants out of Toronto. Maybe we should put something together for him.
And you know what? He'd be hard pressed to say that he's not sort of fueling the fire either. He had a big interview with Grange this week, Michael Grange, who covers the Raps.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't deny it. like Grange was very specific as what, do you want out? Are you unhappy? Do you want a bigger role in the offense? Like all of his answers were very much like, yeah, I'm not happy. Everything led to, I am not happy with my role. It was very, to me, I'm reading between the lines here a little bit, but it was sort of much like, yeah, if you move me, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Right. It certainly wasn't him pounding his fist going, no, don't trade me.
I think he thinks he's more valuable on offense than he is, for sure. But yeah,
Totally.
I honestly think he's right for the taking. Like we won 2 of those games on the road. Or I think we won 2 of those games on the road trip without him.
Well, that's going to segue into Precious here in a second, because we do need to talk about his performance since his increased playing time.
Double Precious. Yeah.
Double. Oh my God. Like not 10 and 10s.
Yeah.
Right. Like these are legit double.
It's 6 in a row now or something.
But to finish on OG and his role within, I've watched it fairly closely in the last little bit. His role on offense is literally, if he doesn't get the rebound or bring the ball up himself to create some of his own offense at the top of the key, almost exclusively he runs to a corner and he stands there. And then he's literally waiting to see if someone else will get him the ball. And then you know what? He probably touches the ball after that one every 4, 5, 6 possessions. Like there'll be 4 or 5 possessions in a row he doesn't touch the ball. Like that. So and I'm defending OG here. If I'm OG and I'm, in the start of what should be the best part of his career, yeah, I think I'd be frustrated too.
Yeah, but But all he's doing is living and dying by the 3. Like how about cut to the hoop? He's got to slash some lanes and get given the ball in the lane. Or
so yeah, and generally speaking, when he gets ahead of steam, he finishes pretty aggressively. I think that's a good part of his game. But I'm not going to shit all over him, because I don't think it's just him. Like, I do feel like Nurse is responsible for some of this. Like he's got to find a way to, like, our offense. And again, we've had at least 2 or 3 stretches in the last 2 or 3 games where it just goes stagnant and everyone's standing around watching. There's no movement. And then literally under 7 seconds, 8 seconds, it's like, whoever got the ball is going to figure out a way to get a shot off. Right. And generally speaking, that's not a great shot. So yeah, I think Nurse is somewhat, culpable or responsible for helping an OG type get to his strengths. Listen, he can shoot in the corner. And that's why I think that's why so many teams want him, right? Good defender who can spot up and shoot from 40% in the corner.
Yeah.
He's going to be valuable. And again, but I'm now resigned to the fact that if this is what we are and he's not happy, and somewhere out there's 3 first-round picks and maybe a serviceable person coming back, I don't know how you say no to that right now.
Yeah. On a team that is a good scoring team, like a team that's confident scoring, they don't need him to score. Play defense and hit that wide open 3 every once in a while. Like they don't need him to get 20 points a game on a good scoring team.
Yeah, no, listen, I agree. All right, listen, let's do a little word association, and we'll start with Precious, because the double man. But let's so Precious Achiuwa. That's you. You now have to speak.
What kind of word do you want? Just any
word association. I'm saying Precious Achiuwa. You have to now comment. It's like the.
Can I do 2 words?
Password. It's like the pyramid game. I'm trying to coax something out of here. Yeah.
Surprisingly,
you can have a soliloquy if you want.
Surprisingly efficient. Surprisingly overachieving.
Yeah, overachieving. That's a good. I guess overachieving, but maybe he's not. Maybe this is him coming into his own. Yeah. We can't forget he kind of showed flashes of this last year. Yeah. Even in the bubble year he did. But it's always been flashes, right? Then he got he wasn't playing a ton. He had a couple of good games early, then got hurt, wasn't playing a ton. Now he's, obviously getting very meaningful minutes. And I don't know. I watched him pretty closely on Monday night. Like, he was pretty solid. He looked like
when he came back, and when he came back after being injured, he was playing the perimeter and he wasn't very effective. And I think they've said to him, listen, we need you underneath. And he's actually effective underneath. He gets his 10 rebounds. He gets his 10 points. Like, if you can go 10 and 10 underneath, that's glaringly what we need. That is a starting position for us for sure.
Well, the difference there is someone who basically we're never going to run a set play for, and he needs to be okay with that, but then can still grind out and get you your 10 points or 12 points or whatever. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Right. That's what builds teams. That's chemistry. Like, guys who know their roles, guys who are happy going, hey, you know what? Yes, what I am. I'm the Dennis Rodman this team. I go get rebounds and whatever other shit comes my way. And that's how I score. Right. But they're not going to run a pick and roll for me.
Right. Good.
Right. Yeah. So, I don't know if this is a 6 or 7 game stretch that he's having where he's playing out of his mind, or if this is the future where he looks like someone who could be a very competent full-time NBA starter. I mean, I think the jury's out on that one. All right, next one. And this one, I'm really torn, but I'll start with you, obviously. Chris Boucher. Or as my daughter called him the other night, who is Chris Boucher?
Yeah. That balloon thing on the top of a car dealership that they blow the air in from the bottom and the hands walk around and everything flails around. That's all right. Is he from a basketball standpoint? I don't know. He thinks he's a better 3-point shooter than he is.
Yep.
But he definitely shows up some games. So one word. Unpredictable. There's my word.
Yeah. And I was going to say, and I would add to that, inconsistent, right? You just don't really know what you're going to get other than I promise you that every night that he plays, I guarantee you he leads that evening's slate of games in times that a grown man over 6'6" hits the floor.
Oh, yeah, he does.
No question. He leads the league in hitting the floor.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Yeah. Like he's constantly getting knocked all over the place, and he's just flying down, hands everywhere, like your car dealership balloon guy, just everywhere. It's unbelievable.
But he's 90 pounds. Like he's 90 pounds trying to play underneath the basket. So he's getting big.
And he's put on weight. Like that's a scary thing. Like he noticeably, like at our seats when we're there, like he's noticeably put on more muscle than what he used to be.
Yes,
I mean, listen, I do agree with you. I think the problem with the Boucher types, I think he thinks he's more than what he is, or that he should be more than what he is.
Yep.
I think that guy in the NBA should be thrilled that he's in the NBA, but he's a 12 to 16 minute a game guy where they want you to do some of the dirty work, bang, get some offensive rebounds, kick it out. And if you're wide open, knock down, shoot 35% from three, and people would be fucking thrilled.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
But I never get the sense that's who he thinks he is.
No, I never get the sense either that he's all that sharp. That he's all that. His basketball IQ doesn't. I'm not sure.
IQ. Let's go with basketball IQ. Yeah, we'll do that.
Basketball IQ is not all that. Not leading the league there.
But I mean, he's having a decent road trip, so he's off to. I mean, it does.
Yeah, he gives you flashes where you think, oh yeah, this, and then he goes and he gives you horrible games. You're like, oh, so yeah, he's a roller coaster.
And you know what? And Big Cat. What's Jamal McGlure doing with this guy? Big Cat work with him. Every time he gets a rebound, he brings it right to his waist.
Yeah,
I mean, really to his waist.
I know.
It's like, fuck. Yeah. All right, last word association, and you're not going to like this one, because I don't think you respect him very much as a
Ice Camp.
Oh, well, he's gone.
He's gone. Yeah, Ice Camp's gone. We talked him up. Him up, and he got released.
2 10-day. That's the deal, right? You get those two. I mean, talk about living on, sort of the life of uncertainty. Those 10-day contracts. So you get 2, and then it's all of a sudden either give me the 3rd and I'm off for the rest of the season, or I'm out of here. Like day 19 must be shitty. That sleep on the 19th night must be really, really shitty. Well, yeah, he got day 20, and you know what? You know what he got that morning? His old pink slip. He gonzo.
Wonder where he goes.
But you know what? I think he did enough. Like, I don't know where. I wonder where he is now, if he's playing anywhere. But he did enough to
get another 10 days.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think so.
10 days in the show.
Jack and Maddie were talking him up, saying that he'll land somewhere. They had potential for him.
So no, that wasn't going to be my 3rd. Even though once soon as we mentioned, like, I'm telling you, we have the power of either making someone horrible or great. But I never know which way it's going to go.
And it goes, and it's different week to week.
And it's different week to week. Yeah. All right, but my guy, I'm telling you, we are better when Thad Young has minutes. So I'm my last word association, Thad Young.
It seems to be, I would say, a motivator. He's a motivator. He's calling the guys out. He saw the clip they had in practice the other day where he told grown men, like, come on, this is the NBA. Like, so he gave him a good speech. I've seen him at the games. He makes guys accountable at the games. Made Scotty accountable that one game. Almost got in a fight with him, but it kind of woke him up a bit. So I think he motivates guys out there. and he knows his role when he's on the court. So you want to say guys who want to know the role. He knows his role. He's not the big score getter. He's distributor. He might get an open lane layup or something like that. But yeah, he knows he's going to get 7, 8, 10 minutes, and he knows what he's supposed to do when he's out there.
Yeah, I mean, I love him. I really do think he's valuable to us in that capacity. So to me, if OG's out and we're not going to see OG again, which I don't think we will, then he becomes part of the 8-man rotation. But in that 8 to 12 minutes, that's it. 8 to 12 minutes a game. Yeah. And I don't think he hurts you. I think he gives you quality minutes, and he makes some good passes. I bet he's like our third best passer, like pure passer.
Yeah, he's got it because that's his role. He's not a great shooter, so he's got to be a decent passer, and he knows that. He doesn't throw up prayers like some of the guys in our team do.
All right, listen. A little cap space scenario discussion that we're going to have here, and then we can move on from Raptorville.
I got one more Raptor fact that I put up at the end of the game. If you stayed after and watched the post game, they threw this up the other night where points against us by month. So in October we had 109 points against us for the month of October, 111 in November, 112 in December, and now 116 in January. So either we're getting figured out, or I think our defensive intensity is not as much as it was before. And this goes against Nick's way of thinking. I think Nick looks at that stat and he cringes. Going from 109 to 116. That's a fair jump over the course of the season.
Listen, 100%. Like our defensive prowess has gotten worse over the course of the season. It just has. Like we're not the defensive force that I think we once were, even though we lead the league in steals and deflections, which is shocking, right? So what's happening? Just so many breakdowns. I think people discount. Listen, I think Fred's played great the last couple of weeks, but I think people discount, and he's a great off-ball defender, like really, really good off-ball defender. But on ball, if he's with the quicker guard, you watch what happens. Generally speaking, he gets broken down pretty quickly, and that's what leads to those wide open threes against us. And I mean, that's why it seems like most games that we play, somebody who's unheralded is making a bunch of shots against us, right? So I do think we have some on-ball defensive issues, Fred being probably the most glaring. But again, I think all that said, he's an above average defender overall, but I just think that's a weakness of ours. And then, and we just seem to, every game, does it not seem like we're just running guys off the 3-point line, just flying at them? Like it just seems, there just seems to be a ton of uncontested threes when teams are playing us. And I mean, I don't know if that's intensity, philosophy, we don't have the right guys, or, breakdown. I don't know, but it's not good. And I'm fairly certain teams whose defense gets worse throughout the season, generally speaking, probably don't make deep playoff runs.
No, probably no.
Probably not.
It's not like they're learning things. Not learning things along the way.
I don't have any empirical data to suggest to crystallize that, but I'm just suggesting that's probably a trend that I feel I might be onto something there. Yeah. All right. Well, Kitch, thank you. Very interesting stats there. All right. Quickly, people talk about this team and not breaking it up, and what we're staring at. Listen, we have cap issues. Legitimate cap issues. So I just want to take everyone through this little, and let's give our guy Aaron Rose. So he tweeted this out. We jumped on it, and now we're looking at it. So you've got Siakam under contract until 2025, I believe. No, sorry, till 2024, and then after that, he becomes a $45 million to $50 million player per year, right? If you want to do that, Fred. If we re-sign him, he can max out at $32 million a year for the next 4 years, right? He can do a 4-year, basically $32 million. That's what he's eligible for. Gary, same thing. We can sign him right now, 4 years at $26 million. That's what he's eligible for, right? Then OG we have under contract through 2024, but then his max, which is shocking, he can sign for 4 years, $40 million a year. And actually, it ends up being a bit more than that. His first year would be $40 million. So we can sign basically 4 years, and I'm looking at this, almost $200 million. So in his last year of that contract, in 27, 28, you'd be paying him $50 million a year, which, by the way, the projected cap, that would already, with those four, and then with Scotty, because then Scotty's eligible for his rookie extension, where it's going to pay him on average about $40 million a year. So our 5 starters would have us roughly $30 million over the cap in 2028. So the exact same team that we have today, if we, and all these guys are going to want max money, there's not one of them's going to say, no, I'll take less. We would be 30 million over the cap before we sign the other 7 or 8 guys. Right? I mean, it's shocking
for a team that's going to finish 12th or 10th.
Well, this year, yeah. I mean, who has a lot of weaknesses? So you have no. I mean, where do you make that up?
Yeah.
Right? Where do you make that up if you're going to pay all these? So I think what this comes down to is clearly it's the sum of the parts. Like, you cannot pay all these guys their max money. So by that alone, just by that alone, there's something happening at the trade deadline next week.
Yeah.
And now the question is,
or the end of season, or the end of season.
Yeah, or the end of the season. The only thing is you're going to lose some leverage with Gary and Fred if you wait till the end of the season. But I must admit, like, the more and more I watch this team, the more and more I don't know if Fred or Gary are going anywhere. I think, you know what, I wouldn't be surprised if we signed both of them. That would not shock me now. I do really think the tea leaves, the breadcrumbs, it's all about OG. And yeah, you're going to go at 2 guys at $20 million a year. Then I'm guessing if you get 2 guys at $20 million a year, I don't know, is that going to be as equivalent to 1 OG? I would think so.
Yeah, definitely on the offensive end. Maybe not the defensive end, but definitely on the offensive end.
Well, but I mean, yeah, it's hard to quantify. But how much would you give up on the defensive end to get a guy who can knock down, more consistent on a higher volume? Because OG's a low volume 3-point shooter, but on a higher volume, oh my God, like,
or a guy who can dribble, just a guy who can dribble.
Yeah, or a guy who's going to play 70 games a year. Yeah. So, I mean, I find that very interesting. And then, again, this goes back to a little bit of the TikTok conversations that I get into. And to be fair, it's not like I was completely aware of these numbers until they came out. But I mean, we have a cap problem with the team that we currently have. Right?
Yeah, and that's the NBA. Like, the NBA, good teams usually have 2 good players they pay a lot for, and a supporting cast. And we've got, in that list, we've got 4 decent players, but we don't have, like, I guess you could call Siakam a good player. But I think it goes back to, I've said this last couple of weeks, I think we have to protect the 2 guys or 3 guys that we see of our future, and be willing to let go of the other supporting cast in there, because all these guys are decent but not superstars. You can't have 4 or 5 decent guys in the league. You can't afford it in the NBA.
No, you not at max contracts, right? No. At those levels. Right? You like what you need, actually. You need the Bouchers, the Otto Porters, and the Thad Youngs, but they have to be other contributors at those price tags, right? They can't be what those guys are, because it's just not enough to put you over the top. But you need guys that you're paying in that range who are overachieving, right?
Yeah,
overachieving, and I think that's the task, right? We make it sound like that's easy to do or fine. Obviously, it's not.
No,
right?
No.
And then you got to get lucky in the draft too. Like, we've got a great opportunity here to get a relatively high draft pick this year. Like, that has to be right.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That has to be right. If we're going to be a top 6 or 7 pick this year, it's got to be someone who's going to play in our franchise the next 10 years.
Yep.
Meaningful minutes. Speaking of which, we should go back. I should have brought Scotty Barnes up. Mm-hmm. We've been lukewarmish on him all year. Speaking of high draft picks who are going to be in the franchise the next 10 years, I mean, he's been pretty awesome the last 2 weeks.
Yep.
Total. I mean, I don't know what the light switch was, but way more engaged everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it's Thad Young. Maybe Thad, when you chewed him out, maybe that was the eye opener. He's way more aggressive inside for sure. He's setting picks. You watch on an offensive series, he sets 3 or 4 picks on most offensive series, and he's definitely more invested in the last little while. So,
well, I always find I can tell when he's going to have a relatively efficient game is when he's on the offensive boards. Like, you look at his last few, like he's getting cheap buckets around the offensive boards, and like that's huge for us. Mm-hmm. That's a total, and then his passing again. But I think what we've been saying all along, it feels like more of the offense is flowing through him too.
Yep, definitely.
In my opinion,
definitely. I think so.
There you go. All right. Well, on that note, I think we've exhausted Raptorville. I mean, next week it's going to get more and more exciting here as we get to the trade deadline.
Yeah. So Dano and I are going to the game on the 8th, so we'll be in the 8th with maybe the full year, and then we meet up with you and Bobby Bart for the 10th, and who knows who's going to be on the court on the 10th, because that is past. That's 1 game past the trade deadline. So
yeah, that could be very, very interesting. Could be, you know what, we might be placing player prop bets on people we've never heard of before.
Or superstars.
Or superstars. Exactly. Or it might just be Barnes left. We just over everything on Barnes because he's the only player left. I'd be okay with that. Yeah. All right. Listen, what do we have next on the agenda here? Do we
gambling?
Right to gambling?
I care gambling. So I'm going to start off the gambling session with a word association then for you. Okay. Or I think it's more sentence association, but here we'll do sentence association. I'm going to give you a name here, and you're going to associate. So Joseph Azai.
Well, he fucked me. I can tell you that. He fucked me hard.
What do you mean? You wanted KC to win, you said.
Yeah, I know. But I also, I haven't told you this?
No.
Yeah. So he helped. Well, so prior to that game, prior to the game, I made 2 additional bets, both at 40-1. And I like to do this bet. I did Cincinnati to win the first half, tie at the end of the game. And then I do the same thing. I do Kansas City. Kansas City to win the first half and tie at the end of the fucking game for 40-1. And I made a fairly sizable win. Like that would have been a very nice payday. So here I am sitting there going, oh my God, it's all worked out. Like this is perfect. And then I'm sitting there going, well, I still need Kansas City to win. So I'm like, I could get the best of both worlds here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
but if it goes to overtime, I can't lose. Like I'm in great shape at that stage. So I'm sitting there and then I just couldn't. I was like, you got to fucking be kidding me. Because you know what? That's a 55-yarder. If he doesn't get the 50, like I'm probably in good shape considering the conditions. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that idiot. I mean, I shouldn't say that idiot because listen, clearly a 15-yard. The refs had no choice but to call that. There's no way but the 15. Like, obvious. He's out of bounds. But I do like. You know what? I think he got lost in the moment for a second. He's going full throttle, right? He's going full throttle. That is a hard pull up. It really, really is a hard pull up. But those are the plays you got to make if you want to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
right. Or don't make.
You just cannot have that happen. You cannot
have that happen.
No.
But what about his teammate?
The guy yelling in the way locker room, but that was still fresh. I'll give that guy a pass. He's just angry with the loss. That's still fresh. And then afterwards, all the players came into his defense when they calmed down and sat in the locker room. So
and that guy apologized. He did apologize. He's like, "Hey, I was at a lie," but but I mean, it was still kind of funny.
It was funny.
Right?
Oh, it was funny.
Asai is literally still on the bench crying, and this guy's like, "Who the fuck touch the fucking quarterback?" That's you put the team and teammate right there. That's my guy.
All right, my second one here that's going to be a little bit deeper for the stretch is Kevin Huber. Do you know who Kevin Huber was?
No, who was Kevin Huber?
Punter. So he's a punter for Cincinnati.
I mean, come on. Like, what the fuck?
Why are you punting to the guy who can run it back? Like,
but why are you punting in the middle of the field?
Yeah,
right. So they said on the telecast, they're like, you know what, they got to think about kicking this out of bounds, which they fucking totally should have kicked. Their defense was stopping. There's no way they were marching 40 yards in 20 seconds, 25 seconds. There was no way, right? Yeah. But at least if you don't kick it out of bounds, put him in a corner, right? So he's got like a third of the field to deal with, and that's where all you guys know where you're going, and like, you're probably going to contain him. But to kick it in the middle of the field, a low liner, so not a lot of hang time, doesn't give you stuff, and then boom. That's where I was. Okay, so that was the first part. I'm going, all right, well, here we go. Here we go. And then, I was like, I was feeling better about it. We've got him sort of try. And then, I mean, that's coaching. I'm sorry. I don't care what anyone says. That's all coaching. That is the special teams coach and the head coach in his ear before you are not kicking it to this guy in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
Aim for out of bounds. If you don't get out of bounds, you've got him on one side of the field, and that's where we're going.
Yeah. 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 It's 100%. Yeah. Like, don't allow the other team to run a 40-yard return back. Like kick it out of bounds 20 yards short of that. I don't care if it goes out of bounds and they get another 10 yards because you can't kick it as far. Like, don't give them the ability to do that.
Because it's like, how many times does it happen? Right. It's almost like clockwork. You're like, oh, here we go. Oh, they're going to punt to him. We'll watch this.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. You know what? I wasn't going to drink on Sunday because I'm trying to drink less. You know what? After that game, I had a drink. I was so angry.
Like a drink of a bottle of wine?
Well, not the full bottle. No, I'm getting better. But yeah.
All right, my final one is more of a team thing. San Fran QB.
Well, so listen, I'm of two minds of this one because people are shitting all like even the Simmons, their podcast, they're like, should you not maybe dress a third quarterback and get rid of one less fucking cornerback or you know what? That's easy to say. How often do two quarterbacks go out in the same game? Not very often.
True.
Like almost never.
Yeah.
And then if you look at the two, like him to tear his UCL like that, like that's a freak act. Like that shouldn't have happened the way it did. Like, so I don't know. Like, but that being said, it's the biggest game of the season.
Yeah.
You've already got two inexperienced guys, and maybe. But I don't know who you bringing in. Who you bringing this late in the season is going to pick up? Like, who are you bringing in that would have been any better than what they had? And I know they had nothing, but I'm just saying a third string quarterback who hasn't been with the team or taken any snaps, are they going to be any better?
Joe Flacco, is he still out there? Could they
well, I mean, yeah. So I mean, that was really unfortunate. However, people are forgetting about the fact that the vaunted San Francisco defense didn't really do much to stop it. Like, I think Philadelphia's going to win that game.
Yeah. I think in a healthy situation, I think you're probably right.
Right.
But yeah, so, I'm just surprised. All season long, you do have three quarterbacks in the roster. So even in a playoff game, I think you try to get a third quarterback. Just especially when they're green, because they don't know how to get hit. They don't know, like they're just more prone to get hurt when they're a green quarterback in there.
But I'm guessing they must have been I just don't know who you bring in on short notice like that, right?
That's true, yeah,
You're going to say, okay, here. Yeah,
and legally, do you have to have him signed? Can you sign a guy for just an NFC champ? Does he have to be on the roster before?
No, you can. I think you can. Oh yeah, no, I think that would have been fine. But you know what? I guess the one thing I didn't necessarily understand is why not just go Wildcat? Why not just go Wildcat the whole time? Like just get 7 yards running and see if you can grind out first downs, kill clock, and somehow, and then you got to someone has to be able to throw a football every once in a while.
Exactly.
Like, they have to be able to throw it. They're football players. Last time I checked, they're football players.
Yeah. You would think a wide receiver's got to be able to throw a ball. You would think,
or even McCaffrey. Like, why can't the Wildcat? You just come back and throw a 7-yard hitch or something. Yeah. Right. Just to keep them honest.
Exactly.
Yeah. So all that's a little bit surprising. But again, you know what? Can I just say, I'm done betting on Shanahan because he doesn't win the big game. He's Jim Harbaugh. It's the same thing. They don't win the big game. They don't win the big game. And bad luck, not his fault. Quarterbacks go out, that sort of thing. But I'm just telling you, Shanahan does not win the big game.
I agree.
I should have hedged. I should have totally hedged out on that because I had a lot of money invested in San Francisco winning the NFC Championship. Yeah. But I just kind of Philly was the bet, and Philly's the bet in the Super Bowl too. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. Sorry.
Yeah. All right. So we
can do that next week. We can do our picks next week.
Oh yeah, we'll do next week. I'll just the recap from last week. So we had Bart and I both taking Cincy, so losing that one. Dano getting the dog with KC. He wins that one. Bart had the over in the KC game, which did not happen. Dano and I had the under, so we hit that one. Bart and I both had Philly, so that was a win. Dano had San Fran, so loss for him. And then, I took the over in the San Fran Philly game, so I lost that one. But the other
did you not learn from Vegas? You got to get off your Philly fucking overs and go under in the Super Bowl too. You got to get off your Philly overs are costly. Do you envy?
Like if Philly got 31 points, if we had a healthy San Fran, like a pretty San Fran, we'd probably get to 17. So there's.
We said that in Vegas too when it was Giants. Fuck, they put up 28 or 30 that game, and I think the defense is for real. I think they're good.
Right, I think it is.
Imagine that the 15-2 team is good. They're really good.
So Bart and I go 2-2. Dano goes 3-1. So Dano has a good week. Dano's 4-3 in the playoffs.
Oh, good for Dano.
Bart's 3-1, and I'm in third place at 3-4 in there. So.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, playoff Kitch. You're like Shanahan. Can't win the big one. Can't win the big one.
So next week we're gonna come with the game, the winner of the game. So that the spread in the game. We're gonna come with the over under, and you're gonna come with 4 props.
Let's go 5. Let's do 5 props. I like 5. 5's a good number.
5.
Yeah, we'll do 5 props. Yeah, 5's a better number.
Okay, all right.
5 our favorite props.
5 of your favorite props. So you're gonna have to come with 7 picks next week. So
I'll tell you right now, they didn't have a line in Mahomes rushing last game, right? They didn't do it because it was his ankle. Yep. They will have one this game. Yep. I am on that fucking over.
Yeah, he'd be running for his life.
Yeah. Well, I just think that's part. Yeah, he'll be able to run the ball, and the line's probably going to be exaggerated low, is my guess, because of the injury.
Yeah, I can see that. And Hurts, I'll take the Hurts over then maybe too.
Well, you know what? I've been snake bitten by the last 2 Hurts games. He's not rushed over.
He's not ready. He only ran for 1 series in the last game.
I know.
Only 1 series when he ran.
I missed it by 7 yards. I need 7 more yards in him, and I was good.
But they didn't need him to run.
So. No, and he's hurt too. He's banged up too, right? So they don't. They obviously want to. So all right.
Yeah,
well,
two
let's save
weeks
for next week. We're getting ahead of it. Let's save for next week.
Yeah, for sure.
Kitch, you want to kick things off?
So what drives me crazy this week is I'm on Ontario came out and allowed online betting. So I'm on a couple Ontario sites. So you register with your home address. You have to send your driver's license to prove that you live in Ontario, that you're here. You have to send a proof of a utility bill to say that, yeah, I do live in Ontario. So you get all that stuff. So they know you're from Ontario. You put the money in from your Canadian bank account. The money goes in, and you start to gamble on it. And the second that you step foot out of the province of Ontario, you can no longer make a bet. They do not let you bet from anywhere else in the world than Ontario. So which it drives me crazy because it makes no sense. Like, I'm an Ontario resident. I've set up an Ontario account. Yeah, I might be traveling to Florida, or I might be traveling to some other location. Why can I not bet from that place just because I'm as part of the Ontario holding? Like, why is it just restricted to Ontario? It drives me crazy. I don't understand it. These offshore sites, I can bet my offshore sites from anywhere in the world, but all my Ontario sites, I have to be in Ontario to bet.
Well, you know what? It is crazy, but I can't bet my Bet365 from the US. It always shuts me down. It says right away you're not.
Yeah, so half of the US ones do not allow you to do it.
And I think it's obviously it's a regulation. They're sitting there going, they're licensed for gambling inside of Ontario, right? Which means you have to be. It doesn't make any sense. I totally agree with that. If they've allowed you to sign up under those sort of strict conditions to prove that you are an Ontario resident, then you should. Yeah. Why can't you just gamble from anywhere in the world at that stage? I know. And then you know what really sucks? The power of the VPN is not what it used to be. These fuckers have figured that out too.
Yep. Yeah, you can't backdoor your way in anymore.
No, I don't like that. I always want to be able to backdoor my way into something.
And then they tell you when you're trying to bet, they tell you you gotta download. So on my computer, I got to download a geolocator thing that proves I am in Ontario. We'll try to figure that out. That's like us trying to figure the technology on the pod. It's a disaster. So I can't even do it I have to do it on my phone. I can't even do it on my.
It is a disaster. I agree. IT technology is a disaster. And then you know what? We say that, and then I'm watching this clip of Elon Musk and some crazy right-wing fucking podcast or whatever it was, and the shit that he is working on with technology and like his ability to like he was talking, he's like, oh, I'll talk like Joe Biden now. And you would have thought it was Joe Biden talking. And then he's like, name me a person. And then boom, just click of a button. He now takes on that person or that voice of that person, like all the deep fake. You're sitting there going, we can do all that, but yeah, I can't gamble from anywhere in the world. But everything else, the other shit you're going to be allowed to pull off. You can pretend that you're going to be somebody else. You can pretend you're going to be the fucking president of the United States. Yeah. Going on some podcast, it's going to say, yeah, I'm going to bomb Russia. Like all that shit's going to be allowed. But yeah, you're right. We can't gamble from fucking Quebec. You cross over Laval, and that's it. It's all over.
It is. Yeah.
So, Producer John, Laval is a city in the province of Quebec. I'm not sure if you're familiar with either one of those, but just so we don't lose you. On that. Yeah. Well, I agree, Kitch. It's unfortunate for our gambling ways. Yeah. They should make gambling easier. It's not easy enough yet.
They should.
It should be way easier. I'll go back to a bookie. Bookie, take my call anywhere.
Yeah, he will.
Take my call anywhere.
He doesn't care where you are.
Yeah. As long as you get a landline.
Well, he does because he's got to come break your legs. So he does kind of care.
True.
He's got to find you. He's got to
find you eventually. But you know what? He doesn't ask for my license.
No.
He doesn't ask for my utility bill.
No.
Yeah, you have to come and find me. Good luck. It's a big city. Toronto's a big city. All right, listen, for me, it's kind of on a technology trend, but it's happened like the last, I don't know, at least 3 or 4 times in the last few weeks. I'm listening to people talk, and they're going to be telling a story. It's usually older, famous people on some sort of podcast I'm listening to. But like Dana Carvey did it today. He's on a podcast, and he's talking about his early career of stand-up, this, that, and the other. And they were talking about how the differences of stand-up versus then. And then he made the comments like, and we didn't have YouTube back then. Well, no shit. Really? Like, I get tired of people always referencing how way back when, oh, we didn't have the internet back then. Oh, we didn't have you. Like, well, yeah, I know that. Oh, you mean like I wasn't the only kid playing Atari by myself? Everyone else was playing Atari with their buddies, fucking connected to some sort of, and I was the only one playing just me against Atari. Yeah, no, I get that. We know. So when you're referencing an older time, you don't need to remind us that there was no technology back then. Or the number of times we didn't have cell phones back then. It's like, yeah, we know you didn't have cell phones back then. You know why? Because it was 1980. That's how we know. It's assumed at that stage. I saw a lot of movies back in the 80s. No one
millennials probably don't know because millennials think, oh, they've had this all the way through their whole life. I'm not sure millennials are aware.
Well, you know what? Then let them fucking figure it out without telling them. Right?
I love the YouTube where they put the dial-up phone in front of the millennial, and they were like,
"Yeah,
what
do
does this work? They
what do I do?
Upside down. Why's this dial on the front? It was awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that sort of stuff is crazy when you think about it. But yeah, I was just like, I'm just blown away by. Well, the millennials, yeah, listen, millennials in general blow me away. I'm telling you, the earth is doomed. It's all over. I'm not joking. That's why I'm living it up. I got 20 good years left. I'm living it up because
I'm not sure it's doomed. My daughter I think she'll support the economy for the world. Based on her spending trends. I think she's
yeah, as long as there's unlimited debt. Yeah. If we go back to the financial crisis where you could buy a house without proving your income or anything like that, then we'll be fine. Yeah. No one ever can. If it doesn't blow up, it'll be totally fine. Totally fine. All right, Kitch. I gotta go. I got dinner. I got a birthday dinner tonight.
For you? Not for you.
For me. Yeah, for me. Birthday dinner.
Christ, what? So
birthday dinner.
Why? It's 13 days away.
Because I'm in Bermuda and I'm leaving tomorrow. I won't be back before my birthday. So friends of mine, my British friends, are throwing me a birthday party. Well, no, I shouldn't say birthday party. I'm making dinner with another couple, which should be great. All right. AOB.
I got nothing. I got nothing on AOB this week.
Let me just double check. I think I had something. Well, I can tell you I watched the Madoff spectacle on Netflix, which was, oh my God. Speaking of, if millennials shock you, fucking white greedy men shock me too. Unbelievable.
It's shocking how far he got. It is shocking how far he got.
And you know what? If it's not for the meltdown, he's still doing it.
Yeah.
Now that one, but yeah, it was incredible. Like if you haven't watched it, I don't even care if you're into that stuff. That story is pertinent or applies to everyone. Applies to everyone.
Like the fact he got like European large family money, and then the spillover effect, like the darkness of the last half of the last episode. Like
I texted you. I'm like, oh my God, this is depressing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Speaking of drinking. Yeah. Do I have any AOB? Oh, you know what? I do have an AOB for you. This is a good one. So in South Carolina, in Hilton Head, driving an hour to Johnny's basketball game to watch him not play, which that's the kind of parents Becky and I are. We just, we go support the team. So the speed limits are all over the map in South Carolina. And I was very conscious that there's one stretch we have to go over this like little sort of bridge, and it's like kind of like open road. And I'd not been on the stretch of road before, but I guess I let it out a little bit. Next thing you know, boom, sirens behind. I'm like, oh fuck, and we're already late for the game. And it's like, oh, this is gonna be a disaster. So I get pulled over. I'm doing 70 and a 55, so not egregious, but
yeah,
by there,
can't go more than 10 in the U.S.
Another one that drives you crazy. By the way, I could have put this in there. The guy taps in the window. I roll down the window. Do you know why I pulled you over? That's like, well, fuck, of course I know why you fucking pulled me over, dumbass. Like, I could check my speedometer, too, once I see the lights. Oh, yeah, I was doing 70. So I did know, yes. I didn't say that quite like that to him. Anyways, and I said to Becky, okay, I'm like, well, watch this. So it's like driver license, registration, blah, blah, all that stuff. So I hand it to him. Yeah. I give him my Bermuda driver's license because that's all I have. And he looks at it sideways, but acted kind of cool and like just rolled with it. Went back to his car. I said, Becky, you watch this. We've now confused him. They're not going to know what to do. He's definitely coming back to the window to say, do you have another piece of ID? Boom. 10 minutes later, back to the window. He's like, do you have a South Carolina driver's license? I'm like, no, I don't. He's like, do you have a military, some sort of military identification? I'm like, no, I don't. He's like, do you have anything? I'm like, no. I said, he's like, well, what? He's like, what are you doing here? I said, well, my kids go to school, blah, blah, blah. I give him the whole song and dance as to why we're there. And that's the only license I have. And he's got this blank fucking stare. He's like, all right, give me a minute. So he goes back. It's another 5 minutes. He comes back. And it was awesome. He goes, I'm just going to give you a warning. Just go a little slower. Because they couldn't figure it out. They could not figure it out. I've got a loophole. I've got a South Carolina loophole. Just give them an out of country license and you can fucking drive. I can drive 500 miles an hour if I want to from now on. They can't do it. They cannot do it. Same thing happened to Becky in January. Not quite as dramatic, but same thing happened to her. Like she got pulled over after, it's like midnight. They're coming home from Christmas vacation. Same thing. Got pulled over. She only has a Bermuda driver's license. Gonna let you off with a warning. Because we can't figure it the fuck out.
We don't know the paperwork. We don't know the paperwork.
I love it. We've got the loophole. We've got the speeding loophole in South Carolina.
I gotta get one. Next time I go to Bermuda,
totally. Oh my God, Bermuda, you totally could. Yeah, yeah, sure. All right, listen. On that note, I gotta go get ready for dinner.
All right,
shower. You're gonna look good for these Brits tonight. All right, Kitch. Listen, great work. You were almost catapulted yourself ahead of Deno on the depth chart.
That's pretty good.
This is one more, and you're right there. You're going to springboard.
Based on the fact he's never here. Yeah, that's good. I'm actually impressed with myself.
Yeah, and you've almost surpassed him. It's awesome. You're doing great work. Yeah. All right. Well, this is your part.
Kawhi take to Kawhi or somebody like Kawhi. Anybody like Kawhi.
Anybody make a fourth quarter shot.
Just take it away. Just take it.
Kawhi up top, looks at the clock, turns the corner for the win. Got it! Kawhi Leonard with the game winner!